hungry? Because if so, you're in the right place. Today we're making Itameshi Caponata, the Japanese caponata.
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. Now that looked pretty good, didn't it? I haven't told you, but I'm involved in a Itameshi restaurant here in Zurich called Cucina Itameshi. So I'm always kind of thinking of Italian dishes with a Japanese twist on it. And then caponata came to mind. So today we're making Itameshi Caponata, as you know. But before we have a look at all the ingredients, do me the huge favor, if you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, which I know a lot of you aren't, do me the huge favor and hit that subscribe button and check the bell icon so that you get a notification every Tuesday when a new episode comes out. I think we're up to over 300 episodes by now. A lot of good recipes. So check the backlog as well. But now let's have a look at the ingredients. It's almost too much for the board. We have some celery stalks. I think there's 7 of them. We have 4 aubergines, 1.5 kilos of tomatoes, whichever tomatoes you can get that are tasting, well, nice obviously, but like intense tomatoes. We have 4 red onions. We have about a handful of capers. We have a handful of roasted pine nuts, handful of, I think they're called sultanas, like yellow raisins. We have a bit of basil. And we have our, normally when you make caponata, it's red wine vinegar and sugar. But we made the Japanese twist to the dish, Tsukemono pickling liquid. Tsukemono is the name for pickled vegetables in Japan. So we're using that liquid instead of red wine vinegar. And I'll show you how I did that. These are the 4 ingredients we need for our Tsukemono pickling liquid. It's 100 grams of rice vinegar, 60 grams of white sugar, 20 grams of salt, and 5 grams of Katsuobushi, Bonito Flakes. And we'll put the liquid and the salt and the sugar in a pot. I have it here. Make a tower. And then we dissolve both the sugar and the salt, and I'll show you what we do after that. And as if by magic, we're done. So now we pour the Katsuobushi in, mix it around, make sure that it all gets wet. And now we need to leave this to soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Oop. So I'll see you after that. So in the meantime, I prepared a strainer. We're just going to pour everything in here. Make sure you get all the Katsuobushi Bonito Flakes. Now we're going to squeeze out all of the good pickling liquid that are soaked up in the Bonito Flakes. We don't want any of it to go to waste. I think that's pretty dry now. Maybe a couple more presses. Yeah, there's not much more coming out now. And that's our Tsukemono pickling liquid. Really easy, but packed with umami flavor. But now let's start with the vegetable prep. And we'll start with our red onions. I'll just show you quickly, but we're just slicing them, probably about a couple of millimeters. I'll try to show you like that. So slice up your onion, and then we'll continue with the celery. And now for our celery stalks. I've done this to all the other stalks, but I like to remove these threads or strings or whatever you want to call them. And you can do it from the top or the bottom. And you just cut in a little bit and then pull up. And this you can discard. And now we're just going to cut these in, we'll do them slanted about 1.5 to 2 centimeters. So do that, and next up we'll do the tomatoes. Now for tomatoes, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I like to cut off the end like that. And then we're just gonna split them in half and then quart them, so that you get 8 pieces out of every tomato. I mean, obviously this is a bit different depending on the size of your tomato, right? So just adapt it as you see fit. And next up, aubergines. Now for aubergine, we take away the top, like that. And now you want about 3 centimeter, well, I say cubes, but they're not going to look anything like cubes. But if you take the top, for instance, I would do it this size. They're going to shrink a lot when we cook them. Yeah, so this piece maybe like that. You have to look a bit yourself how you kind of best fit it. This will take just the end off. So cut up your aubergines like this. And the last thing we'll need to do, oh, I don't need to show you that. Once you're done with this, I'll tell you what we continue with. All our prep is done. There was one thing I forgot to show you on the ingredients, and that's olive oil. So we're going to move over there and we're going to start frying. We start with our aubergines. I'll see you at the stove. Our oil is hot. We have to do this in batches, but we'll put in our aubergine, or as you call it in America, eggplant. And we just want to fry this a bit golden brown, ideally. That's like a centimeter of olive oil. So I'll see in a bit once these are golden. So for me, these are golden brown, so I'm going to take them now. And I'll probably have 2 more batches to do until we're done. So I'll see you once you're done frying up your aubergine. In the meantime, you can put your oven preheated to 160 degrees Celsius. I'll see you in a bit. Now in the same oil, we put in our celery and our onion, as well as our capers. And we're gonna fry this for about, I don't know, 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Probably 5 minutes. We don't want it to color. We just want the onion to, well, it's red onion, so it won't go completely translucent, but you know what I mean. And one thing I forgot to show you and mention is we're also gonna add 4 chopped garlics. Now we're also gonna add a bit of pepper. And a good pinch of sea salt. I'm happy where this is now. We're gonna lift it out together with the aubergines, and then I'll move the camera back and I'll show you what we do before we put it in the oven. Now our aubergine, red onions, celery, garlic, and capers are in this oven form. I'm gonna spread out the tomatoes. I might have to divide this up into 2. Yes, I will. Now don't worry if you make a lot, because this keeps quite long in the fridge. And it gets better and better day by day. Something like that, maybe. Divide up the rest of the tomatoes.
That's a little bit warm still, so be careful, but try to mix it all up. I managed to get it everywhere, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. Do the same here. Ideally you could mix this in a big bowl before, and then it wouldn't be so cramped for space. There we go. Now since it's 2, let's try to divide this up half-half. We'll mix a little bit again. It's, I wouldn't say sensual, but it's very tactile. Now, we taste it. It needs a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. Go with the pepper first. And then the salt. And then we'll mix again. I can already tell that this is going to be amazing. Just the flavors that reaches your nose. And now in with the finger again, move it around a bit. Perfect. Now these go in there for about an hour at 160 degrees Celsius. So I'll see you when that's done. So we've been in now for an hour. We have our basil, and we're just gonna pull it a bit with my hands. Now obviously you can cut this as well, but I like it a bit more rustical. Also goes with the kind of size of the aubergine and the cuts, the way we prepped it. I'll let it cool a little bit. It doesn't come straight from the oven now. I think we're happy with that. Our sultanas and our pine nuts. Now I didn't put the sultanas in before because I have made the experience that they lose their taste then, because they suck up the liquid that's around them, but they kind of lose their sweetness. Yeah, their taste goes into the overall liquid and kind of disappears. So this is pretty much our Itameshi Caponata. Now before we serve this up, if you stuck with me this far, it must have been something you enjoyed about this episode. So do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button. It's just down there, takes you a second, but it's so valuable for me to get my content out there in the YouTube universe. So please hit that thumbs up button. But now let's serve this up. And obviously this is not really a dish in itself. You could, but it's to go with something, I would say. Nice piece of meat, even fish. But if you want to keep it vegetarian, you can eat it by itself. So we'll serve it up like that. A little bit of basil. And let's give it a try. Let's stick with the Itameshi team and eat this with chopsticks. Now, the kind of itameshi part of this is very, very mild. I would say compared to a normal caponata, it has a bit more umami. But you wouldn't, if you didn't know that it's been done with the Tsukemono liquid, I'm not sure you could taste it straight away. You could taste that there's something a bit different with it, but it's not in your face clear that it's a kind of Japanese influence. That is so good. And you can eat this cold. You can eat it lukewarm, room temperature, whatever you want. Cold, I would say you lose a little bit of the flavor, but let it come to room temperature and it's perfect to eat like that, just like a snack. I hope you enjoyed this episode of our Itameshi Caponata. Give it a try yourself if you like caponata. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I always answer them. But that's it for this time. Oh, and if you're not doing so yet, hit the subscribe and check the bell icon. All what's left for me to say is goodbye.